It's Jeff Ondash, and welcome to Business as Usual. Today, I'm here to answer all your questions about heating and cooling with the premier guy in the Mahoning Valley, Mike Vivo for Vivo Heating and Cooling. How you doing, Mike?
Good, Jeff. How you doing?
Good. Let's start right off. How in the world does one? Did you go into the trades when you were in school? Did you go to a vocational school, or how did you have family members that were in this business?
Jeff, I tell you, when I was younger, my grandfather was not in the trade, but he worked in the mills, so he would teach me a lot of hands-on things at home when things broke and the lawnmower needed fixed. So he taught me at an early age how to fix things. So I knew I wanted to get into some sort of trade. So when I graduated high school, I attended the Newcastle School of Trades and completed the courses there. And then I was lucky enough that my uncle worked at Roth Brothers and got me in the apprenticeship program through the plumbers and pipe fitters, which then I was there for a long time, and that's how I learned a lot about the trade.
Okay, so then you got into heating and cooling from plumbing?
Yes, because when you do a apprenticeship through the plumbers and pipe fitters, after the third year you could choose plumbing or you could choose heating and cooling, and I chose heating and cooling.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
See, so we are learning something here today. So you got into heating and cooling, and then you worked for Roth Brothers. You stayed there for a while?
Yeah, I was at Roth for 15 years. I grew up there, and I worked my way into the office. And I was the operations manager for the residential department. I ran the residential department. And then from there, I went to A.A. Samuels for 5 years and ran their residential department. And then I just had an itch. I always just wanted to start my own business. So I went and got my state license and took off in 2008. And every year has been a great run.
It's been 15 years?
15 years this year, yeah. We're celebrating 15 years.
I would have said 6 or 7.
I know. It seems like 90.
Yeah. Wow. So you finally, I know you had the itch back when you were at Samuels and you wanted to do your own thing, 'cause you talked about it for quite a while, but that's a big step, because not only is it, you're getting out of that comfort zone and giving up your paycheck every week and going into like an unknown territory if you're going to make it or not, but then you have all the investment of all the equipment and trucks, and I'm sure that had to be a overwhelming thing on the back of your mind going into it.
Well, Jeff, I'll tell you, I started in 2008, which was a bad year. But it takes a year to get going. You have to get your state license. But I have been blessed throughout my career in HVAC, where I've had customers follow me from place to place. So when I opened my doors at Vivo and I started advertising, the phones had just rang and it hasn't stopped. And my customers are like our families. I mean, some of my best friends in the world are my customers. We go on vacations together. We are a family-oriented company, and we love to serve people.
So now you have your own business, and this business isn't just heating and cooling. I mean, it's really about safety in somebody's house. I mean, the work that you do and your company does, make sure that they stay warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and that their house doesn't burn down. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to be very, very good at. Not only you, but the people that work for you. And from what I understand, when it comes to technicians, you have one of the best crews in the Mahoning Valley.
Jeff, I strive on hiring the right people. It's a process for us, and
it's not easy today, is it?
No, it's very hard. I mean, we could probably put 4 more people on right now if we could. There's a shortage in our industry right now, just like everyone's facing. But we go through a pretty
rigorous training.
Yes. So I am so blessed to have workers that I've known throughout this trade for 30 years, and we treat them like family, which entails they treat the customer like family.
Yeah, and most businesses too, what a lot of people don't realize is, your 5 o'clock comes around, you can close the door and go home. That's not the case for you, because furnaces go out 24 hours a day. Air conditioners are the same thing. So you're working around the clock, and your technicians have to do that too. And that's got to take a toll after a while.
It takes a toll. But Jeff, like I said, again, about working like family, I don't really work my workers past midnight. A lot of customers offer 24-hour emergency service, but if it's after midnight, we'll be there at 6 in the morning. I need my guys to recoup and feel refreshed to run the calls the next day also, or to put a furnace and air in.
Yeah, and especially they've got to be mentally sharp because, I mean, you're dealing with very serious things. You can't have gas leaks in the house. You can't have something that potentially electrical would start a fire. And so they got to be at the top of their game.
They're trained, and we continually train them. There's classes that are offered weekly that on our slow times that we'll send them, or after hours we send them, so we continually get caught up on the new things that are coming out.
So next up is equipment, because there's a myriad of companies out there, and it seems like that heating and cooling companies will gravitate and stay towards one. And I notice you're with Ruud. What is the reason behind that?
Well, I did a lot of research, before I started my business, and I carried a couple different lines, but I was getting to the point where when I was becoming bigger, I wanted to offer an elite furnace and air conditioning brand. So I did my research, and Ruud's made in America, which a lot of the other companies have moved there to Mexico and other countries. But their warranties are 10-year parts. They got lifetime heat exchanger warranties. The main thing for me, though, is not to be too technical, but they have different things on their ignition controls that some of the other companies or some of the other units don't offer. So it's easier for us to fix. It's just a great piece of product made in America.
And you're selling quite a bit of them.
Yes, we are. We're the number one Ruud dealer in Northeast Ohio, which says a lot because Northeast Ohio is a pretty big area. Yeah. So, but we've been blessed.
That's good. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about where you've been, how you came into the business. Let's talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts for people at home with furnaces now. What's the most important thing they could do to make sure that they get the longest life out of their AC and heating units?
Well, the biggest thing that we see is people just forget about it. And you have to maintain your furnace, just like when you take your car in to get oil changed and maintenance and tires changed, rotated. You have to set up a maintenance agreement, which we offer, and we call you so you're not forgetting to call. We'll change your filter. We'll come out once in the fall and clean the furnace and get it tuned and check for carbon monoxide. And then we'll call you again in the spring. We'll change your filter for you, and we'll get your air conditioning tuned up and running. The main thing, though, if people, sometimes don't want to do the maintenance programs, which we really want you to do, is to change the filter. 90% of our service calls is the filter.
Really?
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yes, you are. A couple.
I was guilty because when it iced up and there was water everywhere, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and yeah, the filter needed change.
Well, listen, your furnace and air conditioner has to breathe just like we do. If that filter's clogged in the winter, your furnace is going to go off on limit. It's going to cause a lot of things to happen on that furnace. In the summertime, it's going to make your air conditioner freeze up and water all over the floor, which you don't want water then dripping into all your electronics in that furnace. So it just makes sense to sign up for the maintenance contract.
It's just twice a year, but it's not only a maintenance contract, but it's a safety contract too, because like you said, you come in and check for carbon monoxide. They might not know that they're having a level in their house that's not good for them, and you find that out.
Exactly. Exactly. I think we offer for $189, and that also includes 15% off on parts, and you're put on a preferred customer list. So if you do call and you are a maintenance contract customer, you would get we would put you as a higher priority than we would if someone's not.
All right. You said a couple of minutes ago, you said that you could put another crew on because there's that much business for you out there right now. Where do you see your business going now? I know workers trying to find techs are not in multiplied out there, that there's not a lot of them. So where do you see yourself in 5 years right now in MP Vivo?
Well, that's one thing that I strive, that since we're a family business. When you call, you're going to get us. And we've been growing anywhere between 25 to 35% a year.
Over 15 years.
Yes.
My God.
So we have been blessed with that. So the sky's the limit for us. My son's involved. My brother works in the office. My son is getting into trades and learning to be a serviceman. We started him in installations, and he's doing really well. And now he wants to learn service. So the Vivos are going to be around forever, I hope. But that's what I'm hoping.
And that basically is the goal, because if you install a furnace today at Joe Smith's house, Joe Smith definitely wants to make sure you're going to be around in 5 years to fix it. And you're looking at not 5, but 50 years down the road.
Exactly. And I, my son takes over, it'd be 100 years maybe with his kids.
There you go. All right, so before we go, I want you to look into the camera and tell how important it is to families out there to tell their kids, college is great, but it's not the most important thing in the world, and especially right now, we need people that are going to be car mechanics. We need people to be carpenters, plumbers, and people that are going to go into HVAC, because that's something that we need 24/7 all the time, 365. Just tell them how important that is.
Well, we actually, we are in a very, very shortage of people in our trades, and in any trade. Going to college is great, don't get me wrong, but getting into a trade, you can make a great living and not have $200,000 or $300,000 or $500,000 debt that you have with student loans for college. Again, I'm not putting college down, but the trades, you can make a great living. And then you could pass that along to your family and friends, and hopefully your sons and daughters could get in the trade also.
And maybe even start your own business.
Exactly. I wouldn't change it for the world. I've been so blessed, Jeff. I love what I do. I love coming to work every morning. I have great employees, and like I said, their family's my family.
So if you're looking for a new furnace or a new air conditioner, or if you just, most importantly, want to get it checked out, if you have not had it checked out in, say, a year or 2 years or 3 years, and you've been making your regular furnace filter changes, that's not enough. Get somebody out there to come and look at it. Just like with a colonoscopy, it's a preventative thing, right? Have them come out and go through your furnace, check everything. It's better to get that motor looked at now and those belts looked at now before something goes wrong, so you're not calling it 3 in the morning when it's 2 degrees outside. Be preventative on it. Let them check it. Let them fix it. And they're going to be here for your life and your children's lives, right, Mike?
We will be here for you always. Thank you so much, Jeff.
All righty. That's going to do it for this edition of Business as Usual. Give us a little checkout next month. We'll have a couple more businesses on here for you. And again, if you need anything in the heating and air conditioning realm, MP Vivo on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown, they're the ones you should call and trust, and they'll do a wonderful job for you and keep your family safe, warm, and cool in the summer. You take care. Have a great month, and we're going to see you again real soon with another edition of Business as Usual.